The mini AP item rework has been out for about a week now, and I've been playing a lot of Morgana and kind of struggling to find a build that really fits. So I just wanted to make a video talking about it, maybe gauging people's thoughts and seeing how other Morgana players feel. When I played Morgana before this patch, I almost always rushed Liandry's. And after that, depending on how strong I was, I would either go Zanya's or potentially Shadow Flame and Horizon Focus and a Death Cap Spike if possible, but mostly it was Liandry's and Zanya's and Shadow Flame, and there are other utility items, but it doesn't matter. The point is now Liandry's has 10 less AP, and I already thought Morgana was kind of sitting on the edge of viability. She functioned well as a counter pick, but in some matchups, she was barely scraping out alive, like barely having enough damage to kill someone, and I think this 10 AP nerf will make a difference. I think it does make her weaker, and I wanted to talk about new item builds. And I wanted to talk about builds that don't involve Liandry's Rush anymore, specifically. I think Liandry's Rush can still be good on Morgana, and you could go a standard build, but I think it's worth experimenting with the new AP item balance, what might be good on her. And so, being silly, right off the bat, I see Hextech Rocketbelt. This is the premier item right now. I've been seeing it in all solo queue games. A lot of champions are rushing this item. The new build path is fantastic for it. It used to build out of Hextech Alternator, Kindle Gem, and an Amp Tome, or maybe a Blasting Wand. And now it's Hextech Alternator, Fiendish Codex, and and a Ruby Crystal. And I think that this build path has buffed the item significantly, and on top of that, they have readjusted the stats that gave it more AP and less health. So not only did they make the build path better, but they also made the item better for champions who want more AP. So I think this is a good item. I think it's really cheap, a good early spike. And I think it gives Morgana what she wants and allows her to get online quickly. And after that, she could go a burst build. I think Rocketbelt enables Morgana to get in range of her R faster and excuse me, and just combo people better. And so I think Storm Surge could be a good follow-up. This item also got changed. The movement speed on the Squall used to give you movement after you procced it. You would get like 4% movement speed, and they removed that and instead gave the 3% movement speed to this item straight up. And so I think this item feels pretty good right now, and Morgana loves having move speed so she could gank more and get in range, and I think this could be a silly build opportunity, and then throw in a Zanya's on top of this and you're just rocket belting on top of people and immediately, defending yourself or bursting them with Storm Surge. And obviously you can finish this out with like Death Cap or Void Staff, whatever. I think that's a silly opportunity. Silly opportunity to build. I think this Blackfire Torch is like the premier replacement for Liandry's. I think this item gives you way more damage than Liandry's at the cost of the health, which Morgana adores. And so this item feels really, really good to build. Clear will feel good and your fighting will feel good, but where you'll notice a big difference is when you are skirmishing enemy junglers and you're fighting against champions where you want to press R first. There's a whole cohort of champions who, when you run across them in the jungle, you don't want to press Q against them because they can dodge it effortlessly and will kill you if they do dodge it. And against those champions, when you fight them and they engage a fight with you, you almost always will press R and kite. And as your R is about to expire, you'll drop your W on them and then Q them. And that should be enough damage to kill them, usually. And this makes that first part really difficult because you don't have that extra 300 health that Liandry's had. You have the extra damage. And then the mana is not real on jungle, of course. So that is awkward. I don't see myself, if I'm against a Graves, for example, right? A Graves is going to flash my bind or just sidestep it if he could stay in range of me and make my life miserable. There isn't really a world where, let's say we're both running through river and I come out of a bush and he's right there, right? We happen to run into each other. I'm not pressing Q because if I miss that Q, whether he flashes it or whatever, like you could just lose the game off that. Like he could chunk you out to 20% and counter jungle you for the rest of the game. So you have to press R and hold your ground, and I think it'll be very difficult with this. And so I think if you're going this item, you need to build HP with it. And so my thought for following up the Blackfire Torch rush is to go Rylai's. And I have been a Rylai's lover on Morgana for a long time. I think this item is really underrated on Morgana. It's super cheap. It gives you a ton of HP, which you like. And most importantly, it allows you to use your W as an engage tool. So like, when you like tag someone with your W, you know, they just like, usually they just take 60 damage and walk away. But it's a pretty long range, unmissable spell. And you could throw this down to set up a lot of plays. It almost makes it so you don't have to hit your Q, because you could W someone and tag them with your slow, and that enables the rest of your combo, right? Your team can follow up, then you can hit your Q after it, but like it almost makes your W the engage spell. And to be clear, if you're throwing down your W just to slow them, you're going to be doing way less damage. I am aware of that, but I think it could be good. If not going Rylai's, I would probably think of going some other defensive item like Zanya's, maybe even Cosmic Drive or Proto Belt, because again, I do think the HP is important. Like, I think a build like this could be pretty good. Blackfire Torch, Hextech Rocketbelt. I'm really buying into Hextech Rocketbelt stocks, if you can't tell. So I think the Blackfire Torch could be good. I don't really like Riftmaker on Morgana. It's okay, but the issue with this is she doesn't really benefit from healing very much, so the Omnivamp is kind of a wasted stat on her. And she doesn't really care about ability haste too much, because like if you think about a typical skirmish of Morgana, it's like R or W, R, like Q, W, and then R somebody, and then they're dead, right? Sometimes you get a second W off, but like the W isn't getting the ability haste, getting the benefit of the ability haste so much. It's really benefiting from the tick that it counts down from proccing on monsters or champions. And so ability haste I don't value too highly on Morgana. So I don't think this item is super good. I think maybe even you could still go Liandry's maybe as a second item instead of going Rocket Belt. But I think Blackfire Torch Rush can be good on Morgana. So like Rocket Belt, Blackfire Torch, and then I was thinking like, what about a like full burst build on Morgana? And so I was thinking, what if you just rush the new Horizon Focus with the 1100 AP and the ability haste, which doesn't give you too many stats, but it's a lot of AP straight up. And I think items like this could be good to rush. Like even like Storm Surge might be a better option because of the movement speed it gets you. But these items had their build paths buffed, and I think these build paths are very good for Morgana, and she would like it. So maybe even we consider a Storm Surge rush, and you do Storm Surge into like Blackfire Torch into Zanya's, and this gives you a ton of AP. Because these are three like relatively high AP sources, right? They're not low. Like Liandry's is now a low AP source with 60, but this is 90, 80, 105. So you're gonna be above 300 AP with like the random adaptive force you get from runes and stuff. And this will give you a lot of utility too. You get the burn, you get the Zanyas, you also get the Squall and the Storm Raider, which is pretty nice. And yeah, I think this could be a new build. Like any three of these could be like a new 3-item core for Morgana. I do want to go back and put Rylai's here. But essentially how I'm feeling is like I'm feeling like Liandry's might not be the T anymore because of the 10 AP nerf. And on top of the 10 AP nerf, the buff of every other champion. And so I almost want to make like a tier list of all the AP items of what could be good. And we're not going to fool around with support items, of course, but like I think Rylai's, this is also talking about jungle. I think out of support is a little bit different, but I'm happy to have that discussion too. I think Rylai's is good. I think Rod of Ages is trash. I think this could be good. I think Hextech Rocketbelt could be good. I think Luden's could be good. Actually, I might even put Luden's in here as the item to rush because I think this might be a little bit better. Although you don't get the magic pen, it's still pretty good as a burst option. I think Luden's is a good item on her. I think Blackfire Torch is a good item. I think Storm Surge could be a good item. Morello's not real. This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real. I think Horizon Focus is okay. Actually, the more I think about it, the more I think this is just okay. I don't know. It's not my favorite. I think the new Bloodletter's Curse is bad on Morgana. It's hard to proc. Banshees is conditional. Obviously, pick your magic pen of choice. Cosmic Drive is good. It's really awkward though. It's nice to have the movement speed, but Morgana I feel like Rylai's to me is just better, right? Rylai's and this kind of have the same functionality to me in that they make you a kiting machine, where Cosmic Drive allows you to kite actively and Rylai's allows you to kite by slowing the enemy down. And I like the movement speed. It's good for ganking on Morgana, like I was saying, but I think this item is worse than Rylai's. I think Liandry's could still be good, but I'm not sold on it. And then obviously, like, Shadow Flame, Zanya's, and Deathcap will always be good items. You can't go wrong with these on any AP champion. Like, your build could just be straight up Shadow Flame, Deathcap, Zanya's on any AP champion, and you'll probably be good. Especially out of the jungle where mana is not real. So, yeah, that's my feeling on the new builds. I will be playing a lot more Morgana, trying things out. I will be seeing what feels good. I will be trying Rocketbelt Morgana. I think this is underrated, and we will see. Let's see what's going on. But anyway, you can check me out on my Twitch if you want to see me play Morgana live. And other than that, leave your comments below on what you think about Morgana and her new builds with these AP item mini reworks.